Hey, this is Sam Black with Game 2 of my match against Esper Control. I lost the first game, so I'll be on the play here. And I have a hand with Mutavault and a good selection of burn spells, so I'm going to keep this. My opponent also keeps 7. I'm going to lead with Mutavault since I don't have a creature to play. My opponent plays a tapped land, so I get to play a mountain and get 2 free points in with Mutavault here. My opponent's turn, he just plays a land. I draw Chandra's Phoenix, which is definitely a good card to cast here, but my opponent has Last Breath. Plays Temple of Deceit and passes, and I draw a land, which is going to let me get Chandra down. Good to do that before my opponent has 3 mana, and I just hit him for 1. He duresses me and takes a Skullcrack, and has to let me untap with Chandra. I'm going to start by using the 0, and I hit a spell, so I decided to play that before the Phoenix. And I just attack with Mutavault here. I think that's better than... I could shock my opponent and make a token, then I'm down a shock, up a token, but no extra damage. And I decided it's better to just keep the shock in my hand. And my opponent plays Archangel of Thune, which is definitely not high on the list of cards I want to see. I play a Temple, see Young Pyromancer, which I put on the bottom, and attack into the Archangel, because if he blocks, I can Skullcrack him to stop him from gaining the 3 life, and shock the Archangel to kill it. My opponent understands that blocking isn't really a play you can make here, and just takes the 2 damage. So now my opponent plays Detention Sphere to get rid of Chandra, and hits me with the Archangel. I'm going to Skullcrack to stop him from gaining the life, make a guy, he counters it, and I Boros Charm him. It's likely... I should have led with the Boros Charm and then played the Skullcrack, since the Boros Charm is better and he might just use negate on anything he can there. That was pretty clearly wrong. The reason... Well, I guess it wasn't clearly wrong. The reason that I played Skullcrack first was to play around Syncopate, but I think it's clear from when I played Chandra that my opponent didn't have Syncopate, although my opponent also probably didn't have negate since he let Chandra resolve and could have negated it as well. I think they probably have more negates than Syncopates though, so I lean toward thinking I should have Boros Charmed first, but there are arguments both ways, though. As I said at this point, I think in hindsight that my play was probably wrong. So anyway, he hits me, does gain the life up to 12, and puts a counter in his Archangel. I draw Mutavault, animate the Mutavault that I have, then play the other Mutavault. I did it in that order because Magic Online makes these things obnoxious, where they like go in the same pile and move around, and I'm never sure if I'm animating the one that just came into play, so I figured it was safest to just animate the one I already had in play first. Then I cast Chandra's Phoenix and attack my opponent for 8, putting him down to 4. Unfortunately, I'm still a mana off of being able to kill him with Boros Charm, though if I'd resolved Skullcrack instead of Boros Charm last turn, functionally dealing 6 damage instead of 4, my opponent would be at 2 and be dead to shock. So, potentially a little punished for what may have been a mistake last turn. My opponent is going to cast another Archangel of Thune and attack me with the one that he has. putting me down to 13 and going up to 8 again himself. However, my opponent only has 1 mana untapped, which means that because I have this shock, my opponent is actually dead unless he has a Dispel, as I can attack with everything, Boros Charm him, and shock whatever he blocks, which is exactly what happens. My opponent blocks Mutavault. I Boros Charm him. My opponent lets the Boros Charm resolve, indicating to me that the coast is probably clear, although I have to follow this line no matter what. Shock my Mutavault, and my opponent does not have the Dispel, so I managed to steal this game from under the 2 Archangels.